So we certainly have a lot to talk about on this promise on the marketplace at 1 o'clock. But away from that, the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, NBSSI, has begun the second phase of disbursement targeting medium-sized enterprises. This was after the conclusion of the first phase, where 56 million cedis was disbursed to some micro enterprises. Executive Director of the NBSSI, Madam Kosi Yankee Aye, says some 30 million cedis has been set aside for medium-sized businesses
and disbursed to them. There are people who applied upwards of up to 2,000 Ghana cedis. We've also initiated the process to start with the NIDASOR funding, which is those who applied above 2,000 cedis. And we are working very closely with the participating financial institutions that have been selected to ensure that all the beneficiaries have the needed access and will get to people. There's been a lot of conversation as to, are we really disbursing? Yes, we have been disbursing. Some people claim they haven't received the funding, and yes, we've also seen there have been challenges that have come up. Before we give out the funds, as much as possible, we try to match the names of the Momo with the names of the person who has applied. And it's amazing that over 30% of the beneficiaries usually do not have the names that they applied with on their Momo. So when we go out to make payments, we realize that the funds are returned back to us because the names do not correspond. So we have to now go back and look at over 20,000 applicants and see how we are going to reach them to ensure that the names they've given and the Momo they've given us really align. But as much as possible, over 60,000 plus have benefited or received access to funding. Thank you.
So the second part which you mentioned, when are they also going to get it? You did mention that you've started the process, but when are they going to get it?
Oh, it's ongoing. So every day we release some funds, we go on ahead and we are working on that closely. We've set targets for ourselves, and as much as possible we want to close so that we can be able to go through and see all the changes that we've made in the lives of the Ghanaian people.
Now, small-scale miners in the Western region are calling for renewed strategy to combat alluvial mining. Let's stay with that story because they are saying that this was after the... All right, so let me take that story again. Small-scale miners in the Western region are calling for renewed strategy to combat alluvial mining. They say investment in the fight against the menace is yet to yield desired result due to defiance of recalcitrant dredgers. The Small-Scale Miners Association says offenders return within weeks of any operation to flush them out of the river bodies. Here's a report by Nanaya Ojima.
Miners here, together with national leadership, formed a task force to deal with dredges on the Ofin River. They worked under the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining, led by Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng. Despite several operations to save the country's water bodies, quality continues to deteriorate since dredgers refuse to give up. Mr. Aike says government will have to improve its support for the task force to augment the association's efforts.
We should be doing the operation frequently. If you do it today, maybe next 2 weeks before you come, or 1 month, 6 months, before you come, they will come back to the water bodies. So we need a constant operation to get rid of them from the water bodies.
How do you think this can be made possible, the constant operation?
Constant operation can be possible when we have the logistics and the money, the funds. Though some of our big men have been sponsoring us, especially Professor Frimpong Boateng has been helping us somewhere along the line. The small-scale miners, the leaders, the executives, they have been supporting us. But still, it is not enough.
River Ofin has lost its drinking quality due to dredging of the waterbed for gold. Communities here who relied on the water now can use it only for other activities. Continued dredging has widened the course of the river and increased flood rates.
She says, we use it for domestic activities aside cooking and drinking. This is an extension of the river, but Ofin itself, we can't fetch it because it's too dirty. We are not to blame. These people are settlers. If you call for their arrest, other people will attack you.
Now, a renewed exercise by the Central Region has resulted in destruction of over 100 Shamfine boats in 4 days. Leader of the team, Bracey Ando, believes with the necessary equipment, they stand a chance of winning the war.
We stopped because of our vehicles and our equipment. We don't have equipment that we will use. So we are pleading that if the boat comes, we will work very hard. You can see this boat. It doesn't belong to us. It belongs to somebody. And we just went and begged the person so that he will give us the boat. Without boat, you cannot work on this river.
From Dunkwao in the Central Region for Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
Business for now. I'm back at One Way, the marketplace. I am Sandra Esinamapen. Thanks so much for watching.